This weekend marks the 22nd International Transgender Day of Remembrance, a global day of reflection to honor the countless transgender people whose lives were lost to anti-trans violence. Since the first observance, people around the world have used this day to raise awareness of the disproportionate discrimination and violence that transgender people face daily. According to the Human Rights Campaign, most trans people who are victims of fatal violence are under the age of 35. Tragically, this year was the deadliest year for trans people. Transgender or gender nonconforming people with at least 46 deaths on record. Most victims were women or Black and Latino. In fact, 77% of victims are transgender women of color, putting them most at risk for this type of violence. Transgender rights groups say that anti-trans sentiment, reflected in legislation considered in dozens of states, affects how trans people are treated, including by police and the media. But Transgender Day of Remembrance is also known as a day of resilience, to remind people that while trans people face disproportionate discrimination and violence, they are also leading grassroots efforts to make things better for their communities. And I have to tell you guys that I have spent many years as a leader in the LGBTQ movement. And this issue around trans rights for sure, but around violence against trans people is one that we have always reckoned with and not talked about enough. So I want to make sure that through this show, we're amplifying the issues that are affecting all of our people, especially the people that don't always make the front pages and aren't always mainstreamed. And so for that reason, I have Raquel Willis here with me tonight, who is an award-winning writer and transgender activist and the founder of Black Trans Circles, a project that develops the leadership of Black trans women by creating healing justice spaces and incubating community organizing efforts. Raquel, thank you so much for being here. I always want to have conversations about trans people of color because I'm going to share with y'all my own personal testimony. I led I was the first Black woman to lead an LGBTQ organization. And I have to tell you that in my experience in the movement, I was actually shocked by not only the racial stuff, and I'm going to call it racial stuff because it's not necessarily the kind of racism that we expect from conservatives, but there's a lot of bias and bigotry that goes down even in the LGBTQ movement, and I was really turned off by the transphobia that constantly seeped up. And one of the last things that I did is I had a conference where I was just focused on how do we talk more and engage more, trans people in the political process. So I would love for you, to just kind of open up by sharing with us, why it's particularly important that we think about young people and how they are vulnerable to violence.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me on your show, Aisha. It's always a pleasure. I think it's always important for us to contextualize that LGBTQ plus folks, and particularly trans people, we are whole people. We have lives, we have partners, we have parents, we have family members, friends, people who care about us. I think oftentimes people have this idea that we're just kind of floating off like a satellite in space all alone, but that isn't quite true. And so I think it's also important for us to think about the youth. I mean, we have all been young. Many of us, even if you don't identify as queer or trans, you know what it feels like to be different. And we're all on a gender journey. I think about the work that Black trans people lead and why it's so important to understand that our work will liberate everyone. It will liberate the men and boys who are told that they can't express certain emotions, like certain things. It will liberate all women and girls who are told that they can't be strong, brilliant, capable leaders. And for all the people in the middle or beyond that who represent so many of those other struggles at the same time.
Yeah, almost 70% of cases involving trans or nonconforming victims involve instances of misgendering by law enforcement or even the media, and certainly, sometimes by both. And I want to talk about that idea, the misgendering. Why is that so harmful?
Well, the misgendering really just kind of speaks to the way that we don't trust trans people to share our truths writ large. And so, I mean, I think it really is one of those basic ways that we see demonization, the silencing of our voices. And so that means that we often don't even have all of the right numbers when we think about the victims each year, because oftentimes, for whatever reason, whatever barriers there are, or even just like personal choices of not changing names necessarily and using multiple names, we don't always know people's names. We also don't always have the accurate information about their gender identity because we often can't trust the state and the government and police and law enforcement to accurately reflect those truths.
I want to get your reflections on what today is really about. You know, why is it so easy for our culture to honor trans lives with a day of remembrance when we aren't necessarily honoring and protecting trans and gender nonconforming lives of people, you know, so that they can live a full and abundant life?
Yeah, well, I don't actually think that this day is observed writ large in mass culture. When I think about these moments, these dust ups, whether it was the Dave Chappelle thing that happened just like 2 months ago, it feels like it's been a while, but like 2 months ago with the special that was saying all these things about trans people, or it was all of the anti trans legislation that was kind of in the headlines just half a year ago. Those are moments when we really need people to be invested in what they claim to be their allyship for the trans community. It can't just be one day each year. It's just like Black History Month, right? We often see all of these companies, mostly led by white people, mostly hiring white people, say that they believe in Black lives and our power, and yet oftentimes do not have the support baked into them to actually show up for us in a real way.
Yeah, the last thing that we need is more performance when we actually need to be building power with and for and around communities. Raquel Willis, thank you so much for coming to talk to us about Transgender Day of Remembrance, but I certainly want to have you back just to dish about all the things. Thank you for being here on Amplified.